Yes, my name is Christy Ruby, and I am a business owner of C. Ruby Designs. Yes, this is the Duckloady vest. We just named it today because I finished it not too long ago, and I called it Duckloady, and it's from my tribal clan of the Eagle Moti. So, yeah, and it's whale gray and herring blue. So I just wanted to do more representation of my clan from Clark and I actually have an affinity with killer whales and a story that will be told later about this whale. I left it open. It's got to start somewhere, right? We can't grow as a furrier community if we don't show each other secrets. Doing the form line design in fur is mind-boggling because I can't make those really tiny lines. I can't make a piece of skin less than 1/4 inch. And so there's over 48 pieces, individual pieces in this actual made-up killer whale, Duckloady. And each one is hand-stitched in the beginning, which is hand-tacked with points. I have marker and points on the actual pieces so then I can line them up perfectly. And then I actually use either Joan Jett or Wally to stitch the machine up, or I use the machine to stitch it. But I left this empty so then you can look at it, and I used it for the presentation class that some people came to show them the actual work that goes into doing these types of garments. And after you get done stitching, there's a lot of hand stitching that has to go into it. All this called turn up, this actual fur has to be turned over, has a bias tape, which is very hard to get nowadays. Supplies are very hard to get to too, especially heat tape and stuff. You cannot find heat tape except from one furrier that sells it in the US. You can go get it from Greece and have it imported, but even there it's hard to find. So we're running out of supplies as well. Thank you, furriers of New York. So this actually is a bias tape that has to be hand stitched. You fold it over and hand stitch all this down. All the clasps or the hook and eyes have to be hand sewn in. And then afterwards, a lining goes in here and all the stitches of the pocket need to be stitched on top. And after the lining goes in, then you have to blind stitch the lining, fold it under, and blind stitch all the way down around the thing. There's over probably 50 hours of hand stitching that goes into a garment before it's even finished. So the fur is just one basic part of the actual item or the fur garment. The hardest part is actually stitching it all together to make it look right. This was about 150 hours. And then you got all the 8 days of the process of fleshing and drying and skinning and packing up, and then 8 months or 6 months of, so it's a long process. And this is why when people ask me, Christy, how come you don't go out and shoot more otters or harvest more otters? Well, my job isn't to harvest more otters. My job is to make sure that, we keep our traditions alive by, sewing special handicrafts and apparel and teaching. The youth are very interested in learning. They have a drive from a long time ago that actually they want to learn. The problem is it takes so much work to teach that there are not very many people left to teach that type. Just like language, it's almost gone because there are hardly any speakers. Well, the same thing goes for the youth. When they want to learn something, they ask and there's nobody to tell them. Like even just the rules and regs for hunting sea otters is not exactly out for everybody to find out. You have to hunt online just to find any answers, and then when you do get somebody to tell you what it is, they're not really sure if those are the actual rules. So, and everybody hunts differently, and everybody hunts in different fashions. But what I've done is I tried to minimize the most work for the less time. So I found techniques that work better than others, and people I went out hunting with did certain things certain ways, but I figured that there's always a better way to do something. So eventually I will want to teach But the only thing I want to teach mainly is people that are serious about getting into it. I want the drive. I want them to be like a sponge and soak it all up, and then they can teach somebody else also afterwards. Why? Why do I do this? It's an extremely difficult job to do. I have brick lines in my head from banging up against the wall so hard. I can't just go down to the store and buy a pattern book. I can't find a teacher to teach. I have comments from people that are haters of fur constantly bugging me. I can't go to the store and buy fur products as easily. I can't even get supplies that are used to do the fur quality that I want to do. So why? Why keep hurting myself? Why keep striving to do something that's completely off the wall and drives me nuts? Because of my customers. They love the work. They love the new stuff that I come up with. And I am not a quitter. I just keep going. So if you want to help me find a good tannery. Help teach. I'll teach you, you teach them. Save sealskin sewing, save sea otter sewing, save hunting, save everything. But don't let it go just because it gets hard. Thanks.